threat. Hi everybody, I'm Tim Bulott and welcome to WeaponsAcademy.com. Episode 9, Shooting on the Move. In this episode of ammo shortage, we're going to move forward, move in reverse while firing our pistol, live fire, changing magazines, combat reload. And we're going to continue under the premise that we're in an ammo shortage situation, so we're going to use a minimum amount of rounds, but we're going to get a maximum amount of practice with these drills. Now, earlier we covered lateral movement, moving side to side, forward and reverse movement, and what we're going to do today, basically walking and shooting, okay, or the tactical glide as I referred to it, is something that's going to lead us into building, clearing, close combat, working in the shoot house, things of that nature. These are techniques and tactics that I've had to use out on the street doing my job. So follow along with us. Some of these techniques, such as the tactical glide, you can actually practice at home with your training pistol. Let's get into it. Okay, so when we're talking about shooting on the move, at this point we're talking about continuous movement. Now, up to now we've done some lateral movement, which is basically changing positions and then we shoot. In this video, in this lesson, we're actually going to shoot as we move, so it's a little bit more advanced and a little bit more involved. So a couple of things. Your sights are constantly going to be moving. There's no way to hold your sights steady while you're on the move. Okay, it's hard enough to do while you're standing still, but when you're on the move, you're going to have some constant movement. As long as it's moving in the center area of your target, your intended target, you're never going to hold it steady without movement, and the more you try, the more subject you are to making an error. And the next thing is we have to separate the lower body from the upper body to help facilitate you being able to keep it in the center of center mass, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do first. Okay, so walking normal is the easy part, but when it's time to fire your weapon, when it's time to shoot, we have to elongate that step and roll heel to toe off the bottoms of your foot. Coming back, it's toe to heel. And what that helps to do is cushion the shock that you may absorb from the ground. Going forward again, you can pick up a little bit of velocity by elongating the steps, and it helps you to steady the upper body. So we call this a tactical glide, okay? And in order to minimize the movement that your upper body absorbs from this shock, okay, you've got to put a little bit of flex in your knees and use that elongating of your step and rolling off the heel toward the toe, okay, to somewhat cushion the blow. So you got to look at, your head is like a gyro on a ship, okay? No matter what kind of pitch or roll it gets, that gyro stays in the same position, and that's what we're trying to simulate with our body when we shoot on the move. Okay, so I'm going to work from about 12 yards up to about 5 yards, and that's why I've got these cones on the ground here, because that 5 yard is my limit of advance for safety reasons, because we're working on a steel target. Now, so we don't want to break our rhythm when we're moving. So as I walk forward, I want to steady my sights and just take that one shot. And when I take that one shot, I want to go back to all the previous lessons we've had up to this point. I want to eliminate the slack, stage and press that trigger, press the shot with minimum movement just to center mass, okay? So it's going to look like this. Stand by, walk, and threat. Good, and stop. Coming back. Stand by, walk, and threat. Steady the sights. Good. Check your rear, and stop. Again, going forward, stand by, walk, threat. Good, stopping at the cone, coming back. Stand by, walk, and threat. Steady that sight. Good, getting that follow-up sight picture, okay? So we would work that with one shot and one shot only, bringing in all the fundamentals from before until we're comfortable with that. Okay, so once we've got comfortable with one shot, then naturally we're going to move on to two shots. And what we want to do is get that follow-up sight picture, break that second shot using that same stage and press technique, okay, for maximum trigger control, get a follow-up picture for a third sight picture shot, but we're not going to take that third shot just yet, okay? So it's gonna work something like this. Stand by, walk, and threat. Good. Stop. There's nothing fast, nothing fancy about that. I'm just staying on my sights, working that trigger. Coming back and walk. Threat. Check my rear and stop. Reholster. Okay, so practice that until you're comfortable with it. Don't try to get too fast. What you're going to find is that sight's moving around, but as long as it's moving around in center mass, you're in that heart and lung area, say if this were a confrontation, okay, or the center of your target, whatever you're using for your objective, go ahead and break the shot. Okay, so once we've got comfortable with 2, obviously the next is going to be 3, okay? So we're working on that follow-up shot, all right, but still stage and press. So you don't want to break your rhythm. Resist the urge to stop and shoot, okay? Stay on the move, keep your chest moving towards your objective. Stand by, walk, threat. Stand, and coming back. Stand by, walk, threat. Stop, check your rear. Threat. Walk. Threat. Okay, so now we're going to work on the combat reload on the move, okay? And you have to, once again, you have to resist the urge to stop. You've got to do it the same way as if you were stationary, but you're moving, okay? So, you know, it's an exercise. Keep it in perspective. Don't get paralysis of analysis. Yes, I understand cover and those sorts of things, working with a partner. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about just perfecting the skill, okay? So what are the 3 steps of the combat reload? Mag out, mag in, slide forward. Let's do it on the move this time. I've got 1 and 1, and you want to maintain the rhythm. So start slow, because all the other basics up to this point, they still apply. The drill is no good if your impacts are not on target. Okay? Starting from a high ready. Stand by. Walk. Threat. And stop. Okay, so now let's try that same technique in reverse, the combat reload 1 and 1. Don't try to get too fast with it just yet. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't break your rhythm during the reload. Stand by, walk, threat. And stop. Okay, so now we're going to work up to 2 rounds combat reload in 2 rounds. Now remember, I've only got 10, 11 yards in which I'm working here. Okay, so I don't want to get a little bit overboard with this, so to speak, because I still want to maintain my fundamentals when I do it. Okay, so I don't really want to push myself to increase speed just yet, because everything's tight. It's right in the center there. The fundamentals are working for me. So let's just go 2 and 2. Focus on the fundamentals. Try not to break your rhythm during the movements. Okay, once again, start from a high ready and walk, threat. Okay, so I probably used 25 to 30 rounds for that practice session, and I got a lot of value out of that. Sure, we could do it more intense with more speed and more velocity, but that's not the point. The point is adhere to good fundamentals while we're moving, okay? And this will actually lead you into other tactical movements that you're going to need, for instance, in the shoot house, or clearing your own home, or in an outdoor mobile violent situation. Okay, so this is kind of a building block, what we call a master key move, shooting on the move, walking and shooting forward and reverse. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next program. So as you can see, practicing that combat reload on the move is of the utmost importance. If you're in a confrontation, you're leaving your home, you're leaving your vehicle, you're moving from cover point to cover point, you're engaged, your weapon locks back, you've got to be able to continue moving towards safety and reload your weapon, be it a pistol or be it a rifle. You can't practice this too much because we have the tendency to want to stop. We've got to overcome this. You can train yourself to do this sort of thing, and we're here to help with that. So continue on with the series. Y'all work hard in your training, and remember, if you're not training, you ought to be. If you're not training at Weapons Academy, come check us out and see what we're doing. You can follow the links below in the explanation part of the video. And if you have any questions, leave a comment, send us an email, give us a phone call. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you on the next program.